For some people, I'll go, do you know Gerry Barad? And they go, oh yeah, Gerry Barad, music, because he's a mogul. He is an absolute bigwig in the music industry. He's like number 3 on the depth chart in Live Nation, which is the biggest music company on the face of the earth, and Gerry is right up there, and he's a very smart guy. But he also is totally off the wall as well.
Because we had Quintessence Records and my radio show, and all these bands came through the genre, and played in a couple myself. And
he's just not a genius, businessman. He's also the worst singer you've ever heard in your life. We fired Gerry from the Pointed Sticks. He wasn't really a very good drummer. He thought that, he'd like to have a big drum kit where he could just play Emerson, Lake and Palmer drum licks on there. But so then we decided to reinvent Gerry as a singer, as he told you about Pino Rosaletti and the IUDs. Yeah, well, I was the Svengali behind Pino Rosaletti. I wrote his songs for him. I created Pino, and I can destroy Pino at any moment that I want.
Pino rode the boat to shore.
We just wanted to see how stupid he could act and get away with it.
I think I was about 15 at the time, and I looked about 12, so we used to get dead people's ID. We'd look in the obituary columns, and we'd say Joe Smith, 19, killed in motorcycle crash. So we'd call it right to the Department of Records, pretending it was him, and then once you got the birth certificate and the Social Security card, you could basically, you were set. So then you'd get BCID, so you'd go into like the Commodore Ballroom, like outside of New York Dolls there, and they'd look at you and go, like, I'm 15, I look 12, I go, a thyroid problem, and they'd let you in and stuff.
I think probably most of those scenes coalesce around 1 or 2 or 3 places. One of them would be the house where all the kids hang out at. One of them would be the bar where they get to play at, the bar or whatever it is, where the bands end up getting to play. And the third one would be the record shop where they get their information from. And in Vancouver, there was only one. It was Quintessence Records, run by Ted Thomas on 4th Avenue.
You would go to the record store and hang out, and a lot of them had like pinball machines, or the good ones had pinball machines. People would hang out, and there'd be flyers up at the for gigs, present gigs, upcoming gigs, and past gigs. That was the internet for us. Was going there and hanging out, talking to the guys who worked at the record store, because they usually knew a lot more than anybody else.
In that record store, Gerry worked there, Don Betts worked there, Grant worked there, Steve Macklem's wife Caroline worked there, and those were the people who were bringing in the music that we were modeling our scene on, because we didn't invent punk rock, and they were staying right on top of the trends, and they were getting these records. I mean, in Quintessence, the first Buzzcocks record, Spiral Scratch, that was an edition of 500 that was printed, and Quintessence got 10. We're talking in the entire world, there was 500 printed, and some little record shop on 4th Avenue had 10. So that was the level of involvement that they had.
And we had a niche that nobody had, where we imported a lot of records and stuff from overseas, and then all these bands started, were forming bands left, right, and center, and they all used to come and hang out at the store. The first DOA, they brought the single into the store, or the EP into the store to see if we'd distribute it for them, which we did, and it kind of blossomed from there. And then Quintessence convinced Ted Thomas to start a record label, and the rest is history.